Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at Naval Adventure number 1, Shakedown Cruise for Traveler. This is from Mongoose 2nd edition, and this is a companion adventure to the Traveler Element Class Cruisers set, and specifically uses quite a bit of information out of the Naval Campaign sourcebook, which is right here. You don't have to have Element Class cruisers to use this adventure. It would help a little bit because that's the ship you're aboard, but you don't have to have it. This is a very good open adventure that will work for any kind of active duty campaign. You need a heavy warship, so not any maybe, but you will need kind of a heavier warship in order to really do this adventure. But because it's an adventure, I'm not going to go through all of it. I'm going to show pieces of it and tell you what I really liked about it. I enjoyed this. I read it last night. I've started it a few times and I didn't finish it. I have to tell you, when I'm reading Traveler, adventures are like the lowest on the list of things I read generally. I like to read the source books, even the alien books, any kind of stuff like that. I like more background settings because I pretty much do my own adventures. That being said, this is a very nice adventure to have in your library. This was written by Martin J. Doherty. Martin writes an excellent Traveler book, and this guy was out in 2018, so it's a little bit older. I'll put a link to it from DriveThruRPG and Mongoose's site at the end of the video. So we get the introduction, which tells us what we're going to be doing. We're taking our ship that we've just been assigned to. It's a rehabbed, older ship, but we're going to take it out on a shakedown cruise. We're the new command crew in active duty service. I love active duty. I think it's one of the best elements of Traveler when you have a crew on active duty. And this book actually gives you a pretty good instructional if you've never run an active duty campaign. I do recommend getting this as a kind of a how-to. Throughout the book, it looks at what the characters do as members of the Navy, the Imperial Navy, as opposed to what the characters would do if it was their own ship and they were on their own. If they start doing crazy stuff, blowing up things and such, they're going to find themselves in a court-martial pretty darn quick. And this book makes that very clear. Neat thing about this adventure is, first, we get some really nice artwork. Our ship is the INS Shoshana, and 50,000 ton displacement, tech level 15. So she's a big boy. She's got thrust 6 and jump 4. So she's nimble too. And there she is. And what we're doing aboard the ship, how we're commanding the ship. And this is pretty neat because now you're the command crew. One of your players is the captain and the others are the command staff, which is how I start any kind of active duty naval campaign. And then the other thing I will do is I will give them other characters aboard ship. So maybe one of them will actually be one of the ratings down in engineering. One of them will be medical, that kind of thing. Just so you have people that can go on the away missions, because unlike Star Trek, the captain and command staff don't all go down on the away missions because then there's nobody to run the ship. Now, they will go down from time to time, especially the XO would go down, the captain would stay aboard ship. So how you want to work that, that's up to you. If you want to do more like the original Star Trek, where the command staff always went down into danger, or if you want to do it like Next Gen, where they tried to kind of work it a little bit, that Riker was the one going down and not Picard, that's something you can take a look at. We get a lot of information in here about it and about where we're going, our patrol area, if you will. We're going to be in the Gulf and Zhang subsectors. And this mission, this adventure gives us a specific mission for the ship. The ship is going on a long mission, a couple 100 days or 130 days or something like that. And you are given so many things that you must accomplish. You have to visit 6 systems, stay there at least 5 days, do some inspections, show the flag, maybe suppress some piracy, that kind of thing, to kind of get the characters used to commanding the ship. And this book brings out some nice stuff in the adventure. We get a little piracy suppression. We get a little interacting with a simmering revolt on an Imperial world. And the player characters have to make command decisions. This book also uses the Crew Efficiency Index, the CEI, which is brought out in the Element class box set. It's handy to have that and have the information for figuring out the Crew Efficiency Index, but it is by no means mandatory. You can get along just fine with this PDF or this adventure rather, without actually using the Element class box set. So if you don't have the money to put into that, you can still pick up this adventure, and it's still definitely worth playing for any kind of active duty campaign. You could also do this if this was an NPC ship that was going to be coming into your area, where your player characters are just traveler merchants or, on a scout ship, and they encounter this ship. You could use some of the information in here for that as well. So there's a lot of uses for this particular thing. I'm going to go ahead and show one deeper thing into the book that I really like, and I love this kind of graphic in a traveler book, but I'm only going to show that. I'm not going to show the full contents. On this page, we see the specific orders that the commander of the ship is given and what he has to do through the course of this adventure. I love this kind of thing. I love having this kind of in-universe look at how you would get the orders and what you would have to do. I just really think that adds just a lot to the engagement with the game. So we get the breakdown of everything we want to be doing, and there's a ton of stuff you can do with this. Little side quests. You have one mission where you have to meet up with a ship to be resupplied, and you have to meet the ship on such and such a date, and then deal with the fact that if you're a little late or the ship is a little late, and then do the actual transfer. And you can get as granular with this as you want. If you want to do all the details of transferring the cargo from one ship to the other, you absolutely can. Or if you just kind of want to hand wave it because you want to get on to other stuff, you can do that as well. And it's really going to depend on your GMing style and what your players are interested in doing. If your players really want to do a deep dive and really be aboard a ship, this is a great adventure for that. And this is adventure number 1 of 4 for this series. So the players have a lot of opportunities with these 4 adventures to go through and really kind of dive in and be the command staff. I'm going to take a look at the other adventures in future videos down the line. So there you have it. That's just a brief look at Naval Adventure number 1, the Shakedown cruise. You're going to take your ship out, see what it can do, get your crew to kind of work together as members of one big company. And you as the command staff are the ones that can motivate and inspire them. So this is your big chance. I really like this adventure, and I do recommend it. I'm glad to have it in my library. I'll put links to the adventure below. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Please leave any comments or suggestions. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Take a look at the Patreon, help me out there. And I'll see you next time on page 121.